Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 3 of the Future of Football. My name's Nathan. If you haven't been here before, welcome. Please like and subscribe. We all enjoy doing this for a good laugh and a crack. So we really appreciate you guys being here with us. I've got Reese with me. Really happy to have you with me, mate. You've had a really busy weekend, as we're probably aware. But yeah, tell us about it. How was it?
I spent a fortune, mate, but it was a quality weekend. Thanks. Looking forward to reviewing it as well. It's been bonkers, and I look forward to doing it again same weekend next year. So
Yeah, it
it'll
looks like
be.
there's Forbidden Door next year, and then likely to come back for all in 26. I think I saw online as
That's
well.
right. That's right. Yeah, and I'll be at both,
So
100%.
we may see a WWE WrestleMania in London and a AEW All in London in the same year. Who would have thought it?
Potentially, I think they'll be a year apart. I think they'll be a year apart. I don't think they'll have both in the same year. I don't think they'll be able to accommodate it.
No, would have been cool to see. Anyway, right, enough wrestling chat. We'll have a go on Reese's channel for that at some stage. Absolutely. But yeah, we're here for the future of football. We've got a couple of topics that I've picked out to talk about. And as you can see by the title, in the last week, Ronaldo started his own YouTube channel and absolutely demolished every record in the book. For example, he started his channel on what day was it? Whatever day it was. And in just 2 days, he hit 30 million subscribers.
Yeah, that's not even. It's not even funny. Like he's
It's
only at
not.
that. He's only at that because of his name and like his success in the game. But like genuine grafters on YouTube won't even ever hit that kind of number.
No.
Not gonna lie, like I feel like if I had a name like Ronaldo, I'd have all that number. But I generally feel disgusted by that as a content creator for over 5 years. I actually feel disgusted by that. But
Really?
fair
Does that
play on
actually
it.
annoy you a little
It
bit?
does. It does a little bit because like that's like it's like even if it's like hard work as a hobby or even like a part time, like I'm not gonna see anything like that. But you want to at least see like a good number for yourself, a good little bit of a hard work. He just
Yeah,
walks in and that's it. He's already there, and I'm like, what the fuck?
yeah.
But I can't really fault. But the fact is, like, at least fair play him. It's another venture, and fair play him for smashing that in two
Yeah,
days.
it
Fair
was
fair
literally
play.
just before we came on air, it was sitting at just shy of 50 million, 49.2 million, and that's in about 5 days, which is just ridiculous.
It's not
Like,
even It's not normal at all. It's not
it's not.
normal.
And he's got something like 600 million followers on Instagram and
But
so many.
what's he gonna talk about? Like, is he just gonna talk about football? Is he gonna talk about the fact he loves to manicure himself? Like, what is he gonna talk about?
Well, I've had a little look. I haven't watched any of them, but there's a video on there at the moment of his, I think now wife, looking at his old outfits. You know, when he turned up at Old Trafford for his medical and he was wearing that
Right.
ridiculous jumper. There's like videos like that. The highest
Fair
view,
enough.
and he had the gold button in about a day. So they had YouTube had already put it out to him like before it even started his account. So there's a video of him receiving that, giving it to his kids and stuff, which
It's not even. You know what I mean? Like, that's not even funny. You know,
it's
like
not.
that's just. It's shocking. Like fair play him and all, but that just the genuine grafters, like that enjoy
As if
to
there
like.
wasn't, he's done everything there possibly needs to be. Did he really have to start shitting all over our lives by coming into YouTube? Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. I don't think. I don't think there's a need for him. You know, like I don't think there's a need for him to be on YouTube. But if he enjoys it, then fair play him. If he just does it because he knows he can just take the mic and he'll get the numbers, then fair play.
Yeah.
But I can't really argue in that way. Like the guy's brilliant at everything he does, but it's just really fucking annoying.
Yeah. I mean, he's literally just walked in and just blown it out. Like, I think it was
Yep.
Mr. Beast. Not that I like him that much, but it took him something like 162 days to get something like 1 million or 10 million subscribers. And
Literally.
literally within a few hours, Ronaldo's just absolutely smashed it. We're not surprised at all. Like he is what he is. He's created this brand using his power. So there's no surprise
Yeah.
whatsoever. But what I thought was surely if he was still in a top European league, this wouldn't even be on his mind. This is purely
No.
just because he's got nothing better to do with his multi-millions and just to throw it into a new project. You see what I mean?
Oh yeah, this is just all that's for. And actually, I might check this out after because I want to see his setup. So like, all that money, if he's got a shit setup, then he's not taking this seriously.
Well, he's not sitting there with like cheap golf clubs and a United duck in the background.
If he's got I've got 2 mics beside me and 2 screens and 2 laptops, sorry. But if he's got like a serious and 2 monitors, if he's got a serious setup, then fuck me, like no one's ready for this.
It would be amazing if he just started streaming video games. Like he was just playing FIFA with himself, just shouting with his teammates. That would be awesome.
Oh man, I would honestly just if I see him doing that, I will just shut down my YouTube channel.
Yeah, it would just be pointless.
If I see him doing that, I'll be like, nah, this is it. Like, I'm bowing out. Like, I'm
done.
Yeah,
if he was still playing, for example, in the Premier League or in Serie A or La Liga or
even the pissant Liga, like
you still wouldn't even consider making a YouTube channel. This is purely just because he's playing in a league that nobody watches.
I think it says more about him than anything else than Messi, because Messi's too busy with his family. He ain't interested. But I wouldn't be surprised if he now creates a YouTube account just to respond. And I'm like, mate, this is petty.
Yeah, it's crazy. It really is. It sort of brings up the idea of, is this him? Because he said in an interview today, actually, he was on Portuguese TV today talking about his career and his YouTube channel. And he was saying about he will probably retire at the club, Al Nassr. But he hasn't put a timeline on it. I assume this is sort of like him, what he's saying. If you read between the lines a little bit, you're also looking at, is he pleading to be taken away from the league? Or is he just sort of saying, I don't really know what the future holds? Is this just see what happens with the YouTube and see what happens with, if I do get an offer in a top league, he may go, sort of thing?
I'm not actually sure. I think he's accepting that the writing's now finally on the wall. I don't think any other top club is going to take a chance on him now. It's not the sense of they don't need to. I think it's just a necessity that he is. Like, he's still a fantastic footballer, but there's no need to bring him in. I don't think anyone's going to take a risk. And I disagree with the comments that Louis Saha said the other day that Ronaldo will be back at Man United for a third time. Not as a footballer, no. Maybe as a manager, right? Randomly, I don't think he'll ever become a football manager. If he did, Man United would probably one of the jobs that he would want. But I don't see him back at United in any form of playing capacity again. So I think Louis Saha's just chatting shit. But I don't think it's more of a plea. I think he's finally accepted that Curtin's finally calling on him, even though he's a fantastic athlete. I think he's finally accepting that time's caught up to him. Because to be fair, though, he's also been shit over there. Like, he scored a fair decent amount of goals, but it's quite ironic. He's played, 40? I think he's played like 40 or something games over there already. Neymar's played 5, and Neymar's got 5 trophies. like Neymar's completely trolled Ronaldo in a quarter of the games played. 5 games, 5 games, 2 assists, 1 goal, 5 trophies. Ronaldo's still got 0 trophies in Saudi. Like, he's a fool. Like,
I think Ronaldo was sort of expecting there to be a little bit longer between all these sort of superstars being signed as well, wasn't he? He was sort of hoping it would be the flagship, and he would sort of take on the league and win a load of stuff, and then all these other players would turn up. But it sort of happened like overnight, didn't it? He left, went to Saudi, and then all of a sudden you just saw all these other big name stars just disappearing over there and then never being heard from again. Have you watched any of the football out there, or is it just never even looked?
I refuse to watch it.
Yeah.
I've got no interest. I mean, the likes of Benzema, Mane, Telles, Ronaldo, Mahrez now, to be honest, they're all dead to me. They're
news reporting today that Ivan Toney's been agreed personal terms with Al Ikhla or something like that, 50 million a year.
Yeah, he's another one. Like, they're going there for the bag. They're not going there for football. The Saudi league will never be competitive. It will never be interesting. Nobody really watches it. Anybody that claims they do is talking out their arse. Nobody watches it. Even if Messi went over there, nobody's going to watch Al Nassr versus Al Hilal, Messi versus Ronaldo. It's not going to happen. Nobody cares. So I would rather, I prefer watching the MLS, and I'll continue watching that over the Saudi league. Saudi league offers me no interest, and I said I would never watch it, and I'm never going to watch it.
No, I've not really seen anything. And you might see the odd TikTok that scrolls through my For You page, but yeah, it's not a league that appeals to me just because it's got all this star power over there. It doesn't bother me in the slightest. It's great. Let's have a look. There
Catherine's
we
spot
go.
on.
Catherine's
Catherine's
spot
spot
on.
on.
I
Yeah.
mean, in the cold light of it, is that if I was offered, 50 million a year to go and do the same
Oh
job
yeah,
I'm
you'd
doing
be
now,
stupid not to.
yeah, you'd be stupid not to. But especially in like the reviews of Ivan Toney, especially like he's got all the qualities available to him to go on and do big things in the Premier League. He's been consistent at Brentford. He's got
Or
an
even across
opportunity
Europe.
to,
Or even across Europe,
Europe.
yeah.
And just because he hasn't been offered a contract at any club, he's just going to jump ship and go straight to Saudi. It just seems a bit like it seems like a strange move for someone. I mean, what is he? Still young. What is he? 24, 25?
I think he's 27.
27.
I think
So he's sort of hitting his peak and his prime if he went to sort of like a big Premier League club or a European club. But just to jump ship and go straight to Saudi, it's clearly a money thing. There's no other way of looking at it.
This might sound very harsh, but I'm not English, so I don't care. This move should practically cancel him getting into the England squad for the rest of his career, in my opinion. There's no competition, so why should he go there?
No.
Why should he be included? Like for me, this makes him the fourth choice England striker, even fifth choice.
Well, it happened with Jordan Henderson. He sort of faded out because he wasn't enjoying it over there. So Gareth didn't pick him, and now he's not really getting much game time at Ajax, as far as I'm aware. Not really putting up trees over there. So yeah, it's such a shame. You see good players like Ivan Toney. Yeah, we know he had the gambling thing, and he sort of rehabilitated himself from that. But giving a gambling addict 50 million, I mean, bloody hell! If there's no gambling laws over there,
he'll go because of how bad his addiction is. I actually think, and this sounds incredibly harsh, but I think he will. He'll be lucky that he's getting all that money, because if he was over here and he had that level of tax to pay as well, plus all that, he'd be out in the streets.
Yeah.
I think he'll be that bad. And good for you, Catherine. You're watching the best football league in the world. Good for you.
There you go, the Italian league. Not a league I really tap into that often, but I do hear you.
For me, it's my favorite league. It's my favorite league to watch. Yeah, it's between that and the Bundesliga. I love watching the Premier League, of course, but Serie A has always been my favorite league ever.
Yeah, I mean, so going back to Ronaldo, is it a case of we're looking at his YouTube channel and we're looking at his comments today about possibly retiring in Saudi, and he says he's enjoying life in Saudi, but do you see him as a manager potential? Because I personally don't. I personally can't really see it.
I don't think he will, but I think if he wanted to do that, he easily could. The amount of money he's getting over there anyway, it wouldn't surprise me if he just created his own football club as well. Like, it wouldn't surprise me. Like, he easily could. But I don't know. We'll see. I'm not entirely sure, but
because you see him on the sidelines of like Portugal and stuff, he gets involved when he's not playing and stuff. But I think that's just because he's got to feel like he's got to be doing something important. Do you know what I mean?
Like
I couldn't imagine him actually being. He obviously lives and breathes football. That's obviously his passion, like all of ours. But there's an essence of you can't really imagine him going to board meetings and directors' meetings and we want to sign this player. For Ronaldo, it'll just be a case of I want that player. I don't really give a shit how much he costs, sort of thing. So you can't really see that side of Ronaldo.
It'd be interesting to see, though. I'm not sure what you're going to see from him, but I do think that he's realised that his time's up. I think the writing's finally on the wall for him.
Catherine makes an excellent point. So I want Catherine in particular to watch the next episode of Future of Football, because we're going to talk about that particular subject. Not every player makes a good coach.
It's even better. This is coming from an American as well.
Brilliant.
It's even better. Completely understands it as well. The fabrication of it. Spot on. Not every player does become a good coach. Only a tailor few.
Even the best players don't become good coaches at all, and that is exactly what we're going to look at.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so yeah, as we said, mind-boggling stats from Ronaldo: 49.2 million subs in less than a week. Absolutely ridiculous. Right, I'm glad you wanted to come on tonight, Reese, because the next subject is a bit more up your street. We talked about it backstage at the end of the last show. In the true spirit of the show, we're going to look into the if, buts, and maybes, and what if English and Scottish football combined. So, How would the Scottish teams fare? Now, you're a Rangers fan, correct?
Yeah.
So, if we were to, for example, chuck Rangers into the Premier League now, what do you reckon?
I think they wouldn't get relegated, but I think they would the first season or two they would be in and around that area. And I would say the same for Celtic if Celtic were also included. But the big advantage compared to most Premier League clubs is when you consider atmosphere and fan bases, Rangers and Celtic in general dwarf. Well, I'd say Rangers and Celtic dwarf 98% of the Premier League in terms of fan base, especially international. Because you can just see it in an Old Firm game, whether it's at Ibrox or whether it's at Celtic Park. Their atmospheres are far, even in European nights as well, their atmospheres are far better than most Premier League clubs as well. Like, there's not many that compare. Like, I think if they were to stay, I'd say maybe 2 seasons, say between 15th and 18th in the league. Well, actually, no, that would get them relegated. 15th and 17th in the league. They'd just be fighting about. But they would start
relegation.
Yeah, but they would be bringing in a bit of decent money. The revenue would be there as well because the fans would be there every single week.
So, in your mind, is it's quite a common misconception, or maybe it isn't, that there is quite a gulf between the quality of football? Do you really believe that, or is that just what people see from the outside? I don't really watch the league because I don't watch Scottish football. Don't really get much time to. I'll chuck it on if it's on, but I don't go out to watch it. But.
Well, we've seen it, like how, like Rangers or Celtic, for example, in recent years have went on decent European runs, and yeah, like the Premier League, obviously, there's much more money involved than any other league across the globe. But when you look at certain teams, they would be lucky to get a team like Rangers or Celtic even at their stadium, like just to get the fan base involved. Like Celtic versus Man City, 2 seasons ago, were both 3-3 draws, and this is apparently the best team in the Premier League, and they can even beat Celtic. Like you can even like slap them about, and not, you know what I mean? So. Like Rangers had the Champions League, then the Europa League final, like run to the final as well. So like they can compete in Europe in that way. I think if you put them in the Premier League, I think you would see eventually the budgets would increase for them, the visibility to their players, like the amount of money they'd be able to bring in. I think you wouldn't say Rangers or Celtic win the Premier League. I don't think either of those two ever would. But if you gave them the finance, I would say they would crack the top 10 within 3-4 years of being in the Premier League. I think they could potentially do it. It might sound a little bit delusional, but when you look at the fact that Rangers can get 52,000 a week, and they're also doing work on Ibrox as well to try and make it bigger, even though it's kind of stupid at the moment.
They're playing their games at Hampden at the moment, right? They're playing their games at Hampden.
Yeah, Hampden Park, and obviously Celtic are over 60,000 as well. So. The amount of money they'd bring in, they'd charge a bit more just for the Premier League games if they got them. But the amount of money they bring in, you would see them competing with Bournemouth for the same players that Bournemouth are signing. But even Brighton as well. Like you think 40 million or whatever on Evan Nielsen is what Bournemouth can do. If Celtic or Rangers had the same amount of money, they'd be like, cheers. Like we'll just go and get someone on the exact same caliber and we'll rival it to you. And before then, I think they could. I think they might. I would say this as well. I think if Rangers or Celtic were in the Premier League, they'd win a trophy faster than Newcastle.
Ooh, you're saying that on purpose. You're trying to get.
That's not on purpose.
You're trying to get clout. That's
not on purpose. And I'll even
you
go
might as well
after.
Tag the people you're talking about.
I'm not going. No, I'm not being on purpose because the club I think that would actually win a trophy first would probably be Celtic. I think Celtic win the League Cup. Okay. Unbiased, I think
that's another thing. There's got to be a potential of combining all 3 league in a cup competition. Surely that's something that would interest all of the leagues.
Potentially, but it's the travel, the cost, the timing for fans. It'll be hard. I don't think you'll ever see Scotland and England combined anyway. I'd rather just see the Scottish FA actually get their finger out and do better when it comes to their own televised rights in the league itself, make it bigger because 12 teams isn't enough. But I don't see Rangers and Celtic ever going to the Premier League. Scottish League cannot afford to lose them, but they'd be a big asset to the Premier League. Like
So in that sense, because I
asset.
was listening to something on the radio the other day about Rangers and Celtic. So there's this thing going on at the moment where Celtic aren't allowing Rangers fans into the ground for their game in a few weeks' time. So Rangers are refusing, and vice versa.
That's been on for a while, yeah.
Yeah, it happened before because of crowd violence, so they removed the away support, which you can understand. But there's this argument at the moment seems to be led by Celtic and Rangers, and the Scottish FA aren't really doing anything about it because there is a law in the league's rulebook that you have to allow a certain number of away supporters, and Rangers and Celtic are saying, well, no, they're not doing it, so why should we? And it's a bit childish here. So it is a case of just these teams are just running the league sort of thing. And has it always been like that, or is it just
pretty much? I mean, it used to be a whole lot more violent, like these games. Like these games used to have a lot more passion in them in that way. Now it's just the competitiveness. But like, I disagree with the not letting fans in. Like, I think they should be allowed in anyway. I mean, they weren't going to get a lot of fans either way. I mean, that whole away support will literally fit like 500 fans for Ibrox. That's all Celtic fans would get anyway. 500 surrounded by 52k.
Yeah,
and it'd be the same. It'd be the same as Celtic Park, like 60 odd k, dwarfing like 500-600 people. Like, it's nothing really. But like, I think it's the childish shit needs to end. It's becoming a joke. There's no need for it anyway. But I did like the fixture the way it used to be. Now it's just stupid. And I'll tell you one of that Brendan Rodgers is a clown as well because he thinks it's all Rangers doing. I mean, it's not. Like, Rangers and Celtic have both been doing it to each other for about 3-4 years. It's not just Rangers. He's blaming Rangers. Well, if he hadn't fucked off to go manage Leicester and get them relegated, he would have known the circumstance that it started when he was there. So it wasn't just Rangers, it's Celtic as well. Both sides are as bad as each other, and it needs to end.
Because
it's
Rangers
simple as that.
Yeah, Rangers at the moment are saying that they're not able to fulfil the safety requirements because of Ibrox probably won't be done in time.
Yeah, it's not going to be finished in time. Yeah,
and Celtic are taking that as saying, well, that's bullshit. You're just not wanting our fans in, so we're going to do the same to you. And it just seems to be this tit-a-tat of bullshit between the two clubs.
It is. That's literally what it is. Like, it's any excuse that they can find, but it's literally there. Like the scheduled the scheduled remodeling and the work is not done yet. That's why that's why the games are at Hampden for the foreseeable. I'm not a fan of it. Hampden's too big, and it just doesn't work for the Rangers atmosphere. Like, you're too far away from the fans. It's similar to like if you go to Italy and it's like the big Olympic Stadium. You're so far away. Like, the track's right in front of you, so it doesn't feel as right. But at least it's only for a bit longer. At least.
So they say, yeah. So what do we reckon? So we've already sort of discounted the idea of a league competition. What about a playoff? What about if the championship playoff positions played the two top teams in the Scottish League, and that will then grant one of those teams a chance in the Premier League? That could be something.
It'd be different. It's not something that
it would be interesting. It would throw a spanner in the works, and that's what a lot of people don't like. But it might engage the revenue that the Scottish League are after.
It's not something I've ever seen before or thought about. It would be different. I think you can really make the most of it in that way. For me, the SFA shot themselves in the foot by agreeing with Sky Sports to get 64 matches, and Sky Sports only shows 38. Like they just don't show the rest of it on purpose. And the TV rights for a 12-team league isn't that good. For me, the Scottish Premiership should be 16 teams. 12 teams in a league split at the end of the season is a joke. It should never be like that anyway. But a playoff into the Premier League between the top two, it would be fun. It would push teams like Aberdeen and Hearts, Hibs. It would push them on a little bit more as well. Especially if you've got like Hearts are selling a player for $7 million to Girona, which is unheard of as well. Like, that never happens here. Like, so I find that quite interesting as well. If you could push that on, then you can get something out of it. But I don't know if you will. I would like
You
it
could
though.
do like, yeah, it'd be cool because you could do like an away and a home leg. So you could do like one playoff finals played at Hampden and the second playoff finals played at Wembley. You take an aggregate score. That could be. I mean, this is obviously the whole
fun.
point of this show is to make up bullshit, sort of crazy ideas, and that just popped into my head. And actually, it'd be quite a cool thing to do because you've got
I'd like it.
The championship playoff final is named one of the biggest games money wise in football.
I mean, you've literally got Welsh teams that are competing in the English league, so it is a bit of stupid that they get all that access to that TV money, and they get the opportunity to compete, but there isn't an opportunity for a Scottish team because we're above the border, but they're south of the border, so it makes no sense. I would certainly pay to watch that. I would certainly make an effort to go. I would like it.
It would be a cool thing to see. Cool, refreshing, and new. Very quickly, let's do a quick run through of the interesting scores in the League Cup. If you're bothered, Brighton are currently 1-0 up over Crawley.
Or Everton losing.
Very quickly, Matt O'Reilly has suffered an injury early in his Brighton debut.
Oh, that didn't take long then.
No.
I rate him as well. I wanted United to sign him, but that's unfortunate.
Palace are beating Norwich 1-0. Fulham 2-0 up over Birmingham. Everton are 0-0 against Doncaster. I mean, how is that even possible?
It's Everton and shit.
I put in the chat the other day that I do really worry about Everton this year because they go into their new stadium, the end of next year? It's going
to be in the most expensive stadium in the Championship.
Yeah, it's crazy because they really need to do something and get out of and stay in the league because otherwise they're just digging themselves in an even bigger hole. Obviously, I personally don't want clubs to go into administration, but it could end up being that way because of the PSR they've got going on. They're under a microscope anyway, and then
It's going to sound harsh. It's going to sound harsh what I'm about to say, but Everton are a club that deserve to go in there. Not because of their fans. I feel sorry for their fans. It's the ownership in that board. The amount of money they've spunked out since 2014. They deserve it. Like they absolutely deserve administration. It'll really set them. It'll set the bar rolling because Everton shouldn't be spending that amount of money that they don't have. They haven't got the revenue to support the amount of money they can spend. They deserve the worst treatment you can get. And I stand by that.
No, it is a real shame because I do like Everton as a club. They're the much better of the two Liverpudlian clubs.
That's true. That is true. But they're the worst managed out of the two.
Yeah, it is a real shame. Any other surprising scores? No. Stoke 3-0 up over Borough, 0-0 in the.
That's a shot. See, Michael Carrick's going to get sacked.
Do you think?
Yeah, he's going to get sacked. That's two bad seasons he's had now. His first season.
Where did they finish last year? They finished out of the just above the playoff places, didn't they? Or did they go? Can't remember now.
They weren't involved anyway. Put it that way, they've gone backwards. I feel sorry for him. He's a good manager, but I think they will sack him the way things are going because the amount of money that they're losing out and all that, it just doesn't work.
There you go. We'll bring Catherine's comment back up there. Not every player makes a good coach.
Literally.
Yeah, we'll talk about that on the next episode, that's for sure. No other surprising results at the moment. Fleetwood 2-1 up over Rotherham. Grimsby are beating Sheffield Wednesday 1-0. Nice. Preston are beating Harrogate 4-0. Leicester are beating Tranmere Rovers 1-0.
Couldn't beat them 6-1, eh?
Yeah. And then there's nothing else going on. Champions League qualifying, Galatasaray 0, Young Boys 0. FC Red Bull Salzburg 1-1 with Dynamo Kiev and Sparta Prague and Malmo is 0-0. Right.
Decent scores.
Decent scores indeed. Right. I'm bored of talking about sport now, Reese. Let's talk about something different. Oh, here we go. Let's get Trevor in first. He's obviously arrived. You're half an hour late, Trev. What have you been doing? Here we go. Just the one comment tonight. Have I had prior engagement? There you go. There you go. Cheers for that, Trevor. Appreciate you coming on and just letting Reese know that his pajamas are ready to be picked up. Right, I'm bored talking about sport, Reese. Let's talk about something that I'm sure you're well aware of. Following the success last time, we did a top 10 before 10. Thought it was quite good. We had craft lagers cities around the country.
Yeah.
So And I think this one's quite fitting for you because you're quite a happy and bubbly person. The top 10 happiest cities to live in Europe. This survey happens every year.
Mm-hmm.
And as of June 2024, we have a new top 10 list. Go on in,
Sounds
chuck
right.
some names at me. Where do you think is in the list?
Manchester.
No. There is only one. I should have said there's only one of them is in the UK.
Glasgow.
No. Come on. I'll give you number 10. Number 10 surprised me is Munich in Germany.
That doesn't surprise me.
Cool.
That doesn't surprise
you?
me.
No.
Nice place. All right, I'll say. Try to think. Is there any Italian cities?
There is no Italian cities, no.
So we've got Munich. I'm assuming there's a French city like Paris.
No.
Good, because that's a shithole.
I'll give you number 9. I'll give you number 9 for is a Swiss city, Switzerland.
Bern.
Number 9. No.
Zurich.
Zurich is number 2 on the list.
Ooh, lovely. Trying other. I don't know any other cities. They're the only two that I can pretty much think of.
Geneva is number 9.
Oh, Geneva. Yeah, okay. 9.
Yeah, number 9.
Ooh.
Number 8 is Copenhagen, Denmark.
Lovely.
Lovely
Oslo
city. Oslo is not on here.
I'm shocked.
Number 7 is the only one in the UK. So you mentioned Manchester and Glasgow, and funny enough, they're not in it. So,
let's see. Is it in England or Scotland?
It's in England.
Surely not London.
No, definitely not London. No.
Thank God. Not. Right. Okay. So
very angry place. Very angry and sad place.
I don't think it's Liverpool either.
Nope. Think West Country. Definitely not Essex, Catherine. Essex is a very dull and dismal place. Lots of very unhappy plastic people in Essex. No offence to anyone that's living in Essex watching the show.
Fully offended. I'm not. Liverpool have also signed that Mamardashvili from Valencia.
Oh, they finally completed a signing this year.
It's a good goalkeeper move for them. Okay, so...
Do you want me to give you number 7?
I was thinking Scarborough, but that's not a city, that's a town, and that's just beautiful anyway. So...
Bristol.
To be fair, I've been to Bristol once, and it was actually not bad.
Bristol was very nice. Lots of happy people, as far as I can remember.
Funny accent, but yeah.
Yeah. There's about 81 different West Country accents down that part of the world. It's really, really messes you up. Right, number 6 is in Finland, funnily enough.
Helsinki?
I was going to say, I believe it's the capital.
Yeah, it's the only one I know. It's the only one from Finland I know. Number
5 doesn't surprise me because of their culture and their ways over there is Amsterdam. There you go.
It's when you said their ways and culture, I was like, yeah, it has to be Amsterdam.
Yeah, there's no way they can't be not happy over there.
Bern's number 2.
No, Zurich's
number 2. So the top. So we still got 1, 3rd, and 4th.
Yep, correct.
So what countries are those 3? I'll try to guess them.
Number 4 is from Sweden.
Let's see.
Number 3 is in Germany.
Number 3, I was going to say Hamburg.
No.
Let's see. What other beautiful cities? Not Schalke, not Dortmund, because they're all regions. They're all regions in the Ruhr. It's not Hamburg. You've already said Munich. Berlin.
Berlin. There you go. Number 3.
Nice.
Which I believe is where Amy and Keane are on their way to at the end of the week.
It's gorgeous. It's a gorgeous league. I've got relatives.
You've got a lot coming up this week, haven't you? Review-wise, you've got a review to All In, then you've got a preview to Bash in Berlin. I haven't watched Monday Night Raw yet, to be fair, so I will catch up.
All I'm gonna say is don't waste your time. It wasn't that good. Like it genuinely was.
I need to finish the last match from All In, and then I'll watch Monday Night Raw.
I think Friday will be a lot better than last night. That's just my honest opinion. I think
I hope
Friday's
so.
show. I think Friday's go home show will be better than Raw. I thought Raw was very weak. Let's see.
Right, so we've got 1 and 4. So you've got number 1 is from Denmark and number 4 is in Sweden.
number 1 Denmark with Copenhagen.
Yeah, no. I believe number 1 is only a small city in Denmark, so you may not get it.
I've never heard of it. Then
It's
I
called
doubt it.
Aarhus. I think it's a very small city in centre, sort of southish Denmark.
Never heard of it.
And
I'm
that is number
assuming.
1. Number 4.
I'm assuming Swedish is Stockholm.
No.
Or I've got no clue then.
Gothenburg is number 4.
Okay.
So 10 to 1, Munich, Geneva, Copenhagen, Bristol, Helsinki, Amsterdam, Gothenburg, Berlin, Zurich, and Aarhus. That is the top 10 before 10 of this episode.
Interesting.
Yeah, not bad at all. Right, let's do a very quick offbeat news story. And I couldn't really find anything too exciting. So I'm going to ask you, are you an Oasis fan, Reese?
I listen to the odd Oasis song, but they're not my music preference.
It's been really difficult to not hear that they're reforming today.
It's not even them reforming. That's what's funny. Like this is what, like I literally had the same conversation with my dad before the show started. It's not even them reforming. It's literally Noel Gallagher and his band, and Liam's just joining along.
There you go.
Like it's not even Oasis. It's just.
I guarantee they won't be able to finish the tour. They will fall out again, and there will be a lot of unhappy people.
I reckon before the tour ends.
Ends or starts?
I think before the tour ends, Liam will deck Noel on stage.
You reckon? It wouldn't surprise me.
I think Liam will kick his head in it.
I understand this is massive for music in general because
it is.
They're easily one of the biggest bands ever, and
you've got like the whole madness of Linkin Park as well. They might be returning, but it's not even possible. Like they're all apparently reforming, but that won't even make sense because there's no Chester. He's dead.
Yeah, he did.
So like you can't really have a Linkin Park. I think all these bands, they've had their time. Just leave it. The only ones that are still going from the 80s, like Metallica and like Led Zeppelin and all that, like in AC/DC, they can afford to keep going because those guys are timeless. Like Queen as well, they're timeless. Oasis, they've had their time. They're a great band, but it won't feel the same.
This isn't going to be an opportunity for new music, is it? This is literally just, as far as we can work out, this is a cash cow, isn't it?
Exactly. I mean, I like bands like Slipknot and Avenged Sevenfold. I like My Chemical Romance and all that. If they'd done music in 2024, it wouldn't feel the same as 2005, 2009 period when they were absolutely insane. Like I'm a big fan of Limp Bizkit, but they should have finished years ago. They've still got good music, but it doesn't feel the same as the early 2000s. It doesn't feel like that anyway. Like Hollywood Undead, another great band. Biffy Clyro, great bands. It doesn't feel the same anymore. So I just listen to the old shit on my Spotify.
Yeah.
Like the new stuff doesn't work. And the only way Oasis will work in 2024 or 2025 when they do reform is they need to just play all their old songs and hope that they don't get overrated even more. Because I seen something today was actually quite interesting. It was actually in the group chat I was in that they've only got like 3 or 4 maybe like genuinely great songs, and they keep getting played so often. They're the only ones people talk about, and they're the ones that get overrated. And I'm like, well, yeah, that's the Beatles for you. That's Elvis. That's Queen. Ironically, they've got, or even Metallica, they've got 4 or 5 great songs each, but nobody talks about the other ones. Like if you look at Queen, you're always going to talk about Bohemian Rhapsody, the greatest song ever produced. You're going to talk about We Are the Champions or Big Fat Bottom Girls. Like no offense to women, but it's a brilliant song. But when you look at that, like they're all elements, but you're not going to talk about anything beneath that. So you're not going to talk about like Seven Seas of the Rye, which is an amazing song, or like Metallica, For Whom the Bell Tolls, or Enter the Sandman. But you're not going to get anything below that, and you're like, well, you're a fucking waste.
A lot of people online were sort of saying there should be an age limit. So if you're under 30, you shouldn't be allowed to go and see the Oasis, which I thought was quite interesting because this is obviously a tour for the people.
That's a means to an end. That's just to try to dictate who can and who can't go, and that's try to say who is and who's not banned.
it's a case of, I think that there was so many people that wanted to see Oasis growing up that didn't, and then you've got this new generation that like their music. Don't get me wrong, I'm not the biggest Oasis fan. There's a lot of good songs that they've made and sung, but if I was offered a ticket, I would probably go. But I'm not going to be the ones queuing at 9 o'clock on Saturday morning. There's going to be, because I heard today that they've put 4 shows on their tour list for Wembley, but they've booked 10.
It'll be insane wherever they go. To be honest, if someone offered me an Oasis ticket, I'd say no, thank you. Can I get a ticket to Stone Roses instead?
But it's insane, isn't it? Like you just had Taylor Swift do 8 dates. I know I'm not a Taylor Swift fan. Nobody really is. But they've just done 8 dates of Taylor Swift.
She brought in a lot of money. I'll give her that. Like,
yeah,
they brought in a lot of money for her, and then you followed up with a better show. You followed up with All In, but like
then you've got the
brought
idea.
In a lot of money.
You've got the idea of Oasis doing 10. So like one point it was Ed Sheeran did 4, and then you've got her showing up as 8. Now you just got Oasis saying we might just do 10 and say fuck you, to sort of that sort of thing. It is crazy, and you can't really blame them, you know.
No, you can't. I'll be surprised if they do anywhere in Manchester though.
I think they've booked or they've advertised Heaton Park, Manchester.
Well, they'll get a good amount of seats.
I was expecting them to do the Etihad, to be fair, because obviously that's their own team, that's their home stadium.
It makes sense. It makes sense. If you actually think about it, it would controversially, it would look nice.
Yeah, it would look good, and you could even argue Old Trafford Cricket Ground, because they've had gigs there before. That's always been quite. Obviously, they'll never do Old Trafford, the football stadium. They just wouldn't dare.
No, of course.
For their own sake, they wouldn't enjoy that. But yeah,
they could do it as a trolling thing, though. They could do it like right at the very end of the season if everything goes their way. They'd probably just do it for a joke.
And they make Old Trafford like the end point of the quadruple parade.
Yeah, like here's our standard and here's our finishing point.
So they've got 2 dates at the Principality Stadium in Cardiff.
That's a nice stadium. I was there 3 years ago. Really nice.
Me too. Funny story about that. I don't know if my wife's watching, but she probably is. And she always tells this story, and it is a great story. So that was on, I can't remember what date it was. There we go. The 3rd of September, right? My daughter was due to be born 3 days before that. And she wasn't. She was late. So
she held on.
She held on. She was a good girl. I asked my wife then and now if I would be, because I bought the tickets way before. I was expecting her to come early. She'll be here early. I won't miss the birthday.
And I can disappear for a weekend.
And then I'll go for a weekend in Cardiff. So I went to Cardiff, saw the show, loved it. One of the best days of my life. And I get a phone call at 4 a.m. Actually, no, I get a knock on the door at 4 a.m. from my cousin who I went with saying, you need to phone Lindsay. You need to phone her now quickly. So I phoned her and she said, you need to come home. Bearing in mind, this is Cardiff, Wales. I live on the southeast of England. It's 4 hours home.
Yep.
Long story short, there was nothing going on. And I got home and she wasn't born until the 5th of September. So 2 days. But yeah, she was a good girl. She held on. So, and the entire birth, right, this was the T-shirt I was wearing. So all my wife saw was the picture of Roman and Drew the entire time. Every time she sees it, she says, I hate that T-shirt. I fucking hate that T-shirt.
Fair play, or fair play.
But yeah, so we've got 2 dates at Principality, and then you've got 4 dates at Heaton Park in Manchester, 4 dates at Wembley.
And that concludes it.
No, then you've got 2 dates in Edinburgh, Murrayfield.
Okay, then
in Croke Park in Dublin.
They're gonna have a combined number like over a couple of 100,000.
Easily.
The amount of money they could make from this, about 50 million, if that, maybe more. Like they're gonna rake big bucks in, and then Liam Gallagher will probably take all of it and just punch his brother's head in.
Yeah, and then they're talking about if the tour goes well, like as if it's not going to go well. But they say if it goes well, we'll do a European, and then if that goes well, we'll do a world. They've already
There's
started.
there's no way that this will work. I mean, I think you can tell that like, they're brothers, but they genuinely hate each other. Like they proper hate each other. Right? It's deep rooted jealousy, and it's Noel Gallagher's fault. Let's be real. Liam's a head case. Everyone knows that, but Noel Gallagher literally separated to his own band years ago.
Yeah.
So if anything, like it won't go well because of him. Like his ego will get in the way. I think they'll make a lot of money, but I think the people will enjoy themselves. But I think the gigs will be shit. I'm not going to bother.
I don't know if they'll make the whole tour. I think it will be a case of there you go. Catherine saying, Reese, have faith in them. I honestly don't think they'll make the tour. I think they'll do show one in Cardiff, and then they'll start having a fight on stage, and that'll be it. They'll just cancel the rest of the show.
I've got as much faith in them, Catherine, as I do in Liv Morgan being a good wrestler.
Ooh. Actually, I'll second that.
Which is zero. I have zero faith.
Amen to that. Right, Reese, let's call it there, shall we? You've obviously got a busy week coming up, so you're going to be doing a review of All In, which you were at on your show, and then you'll probably be doing a preview to the Bash in Berlin, I believe.
Yeah, I'm going to do the review I'll do it on Thursday. I'll do the review show on Thursday when I get home from work, and then I'll do the preview show on Saturday. Yeah,
and then you're also doing the review of the United Liverpool game, I believe, on Sunday. Is that?
I am on Sunday. Yeah. Busy weekend for me.
So on the channel, guys, we've got Dara taking over the preview for the Liverpool game on Friday, I believe it is Friday, 8 or 9 o'clock. So look out for that, and then we've obviously got the review with his good self on Sunday at whatever time his good self decides. Thank you, everyone.
Probably 7. Probably
7 o'clock. There you go. Set that in your calendars, people. 7 o'clock Sunday, you can catch Reese and the gang reviewing us beating Liverpool. There we go. Right. Have a good evening, guys. Thank you very much indeed. And we'll see you next time. Oh, very quickly, actually, before I do say no, the Future Football's having a week off next week because I'm having a week off. I'm going away with the family. So there'll be no show next week, but we'll probably return the week after. So look forward to seeing you all then. Peace.